Hey, what's up, family? Family, I'm sitting outside. It's a nice day, journaling, and some things came to mind that as it relates to relationships. That moment right before in the conversation where it goes bad, when you can feel it coming. The tone shift, the energy in the room changes, and something inside of you either goes quiet or catches fire. And somewhere in the middle of that, you're thinking, why does this always happen? Why do we always end up here? And why does it matter? No matter how I say or what I say, it lands wrong. We're on the same team. Do we really have a communication problem? Like, really, what's going on here? But here's what nobody tells us in relationships. The problem isn't that we argue, because everybody argues. The problem is nobody ever gave us like a playbook or instruction manual on how to do it without destroying the relationship or burning down the whole house. And in this video, I want to give you some tools. I don't have all the answers, but I want to give you some tools from my experience. I call it E.A.S.E, a 4-step method that works in the middle of a storm or an argument, not after it, not before it, but in it. So I want you to stay with me, because by the end of this, I hope that you'll get a better understanding of something about conflict in a relationship that couples don't figure out. And once you see it, I hope you can't unsee it. I really do hope that this will help you. So let me talk to the person who feels like they're always the one trying. You've read the books, you watched the podcast, you've done the work. You're even at a place now where you pull back. You try to be less reactive, be a little more patient, and it still goes sideways, and it still turns into something that you didn't want it to be. And the thing that nobody really talks about is that the shame that comes after it, the feeling that comes after it, when the argument is over and you're sitting in separate rooms, and one of you is sleeping on the couch, and you're thinking, what is wrong with us? Or you make it introspective and say, what's wrong with me? I want you to hear something and hear me clearly. Nothing is wrong with you. What's happening is that two people who genuinely love each other were just never taught how to handle hard conversations without it feeling like a survival. And when the brain thinks it's in survival mode, it doesn't really communicate. It defends. It attacks. It shuts down. And that's not a character flaw. That's biology. And once you understand it, you can actually work with it. So before we go any further, I need you to sit with this, that most couples don't have a communication problem. They have a regulation problem, and because there's a difference, and that difference is everything. That difference is important. This method that I've kind of created, called the E.A.S.E method, it's 4 steps. Simple enough to remember when you're in the middle of a hard conversation. I'd say it's powerful enough to actually change what happens next. And so E.A.S.E, it goes like this. The E is for externalizing. Your body is telling you something. Listen to it before it takes over. That's the E in E.A.S.E. A is for anchor. Anchor is putting a fence around the conversation, around the storm, around the argument before it swallows up everything in sight, consumes all the energy. The S is the sucky first draft, the messy thing. This is you giving your partner permission, your significant other permission to say whatever needs to be said respectfully. And E is establishing needs, telling each other in the next hour or the next moment what you need. And I'm gonna try to break each one of them down if I can remember. And when I do, I want you to think about the last argument that you had, because This is going to land differently when you see your own relationship inside of it. So got that? So let's start with step one, which is E, externalizing. So here's what I mean by this. Your body knows that the argument is escalating before your brain does. I mean, and by say your body, that means your chest is tightening up, your jaw is locked, your breath is getting heavier, your heart rate is escalating. You start talking faster, or you completely shut down. And those aren't just feelings; those are signals. I equate them to like the dash warning lights in your car. And just like a car, when you see those warning lights, you pay it. Well, most of us pay attention to it, but you should pay attention to it. You don't floor it if your engine light is on. You get it checked out, you pull over. But most couples don't pull over. They keep driving, they harder and faster. And then they wonder why everything breaks down. So that externalizing means that you learn to name what's happening in your body. Your body keeps score. And you say it out loud to yourself and to your partner. And it's not an accusation, it's information. For example, like, my chest is tight right now. Or I can feel myself shutting down, and that won't be helpful to this conversation. Or something in me wants to run from this conversation. That's it. That's simple, but you have to be able to receive it, because when you name it, it no longer controls you. You're not controlled by it. You've created enough space between the feeling and the reaction to make a different choice. Got it? So here's the thing: when you externalize, it often gives your partner, your significant other, permission to do the same, because they're feeling it too. They just don't have language for it yet, and you go first and watch how it changes the room. So that's externalized. So let's go step two, which is anchor. Listen to this one. This one is important. This is the one where I feel like most couples miss entirely. Arguments don't stay in their lane. You can start talking about the dishes and somehow end up talking about something that happened 3 months, 3 days, 3 years ago. When the in-laws popped up, when an old wound has surfaced, something that was said last month. And now you're not just having one argument, you're having 12. And nobody's winning a single one of them. So anchoring means you put a fence around the conversation. But before it goes left or right, before it goes any further, you and your significant other agree that this is what we're talking about. Just this, not the history, not the pattern, not the worst case scenario of each other. This moment, this issue. I know a couple, I have friends that they have a phrase that they use when the conversations start to drift like this. They say, let's stay in the room. Let's stay in the room. Meaning this conversation, this issue right here, we're not leaving for the past. We're not fast forwarding to the future. We're staying in the room with this conversation right here. That, friends, is the anchor. It sounds almost too simple to work, but I want you to try it. The next time a conversation starts pulling in 6 different directions at once, just use my friend's language. Just say, let's just stay in the room and watch what that one sentence does. So family, we're halfway through these, and my neighbor just decided he want to come out and work in the yard. So y'all bear with me. I apologize, but these next two are very critical, and I want you to really pay attention to these, because the first 2 steps, they get you to the conversation, and these next 2, what happens inside it begins to develop. So don't leave. So here we go. So step 3 was the sucky first draft. Now, this sucky first draft, the idea comes from the writing world. Writers know that you can't write a great essay if you're trying to write a great essay. You have to write a terrible one first. Get all the ugly, the stuff out, just get stuff out of your head and get it on paper, and then shape it into something beautiful, something real. And the same principle applies in conflict. But most of us, especially those who grew up in a home where conflict was either explosive or just avoided completely, we've learned that there's a right way to bring up stuff and there's a wrong way. And trying to figure out where that is can be a challenge. And a lot of times we let stuff fester. So one of the things we had to think about is, as it relates to this sucky first draft, is it lowers the bar for yourself and for your significant other. You don't have to say what you're saying perfectly. Now, again, this has to be respectful. You just have to say it. Like, I don't even know how to explain this, but something about what you said is really bothering me, or something that happened the other day. And I know we just talked about not bringing up old stuff, but just letting it get out. Because once you get it out, and it opens the door for a conversation, because a lot of times in that clumsiness, the truth comes out. And on the other side of it, and the other side of it is just important as it relates to your significant other. When your significant other offers their sucky first draft, the things that they say that came out wrong or landed hard, or that didn't sound like it made sense, your job, and this is the challenge, your job is not to correct them. The job is just to look for the truth underneath all of that clumsiness. Because most of the time when someone says something that sounds like an attack, what they're actually doing is reaching badly, imperfectly, but they're reaching. So you have to receive the reach and not the rough edge. And let me ask you something, and I want you to be honest with me. Be honest with yourself. How about be honest with yourself? When was the last time you let yourself say the imperfect thing in your relationship? When was the last time you let your partner just be a little clumsy without shutting them down? I want you to just hold on to that. And so here's our last one, is step 4. This is establish need. This, family, is the step that turns everything else into traction. Here's what usually happens after a couple has calmed down enough to actually talk. They both start speaking. They're speaking toward different goals. One of them wants to vent, just to be heard, just to get it registered. And the other one is already in solution mode, trying to figure out how to fix it, how to move past it, get this over with, check the box. And then you get to the point where at the end of it, one person feels dismissed and the other person feels like nothing they did was right. And not because they weren't trying, but it's because they never told each other what the conversation needed to be. So establishing needs means giving your significant other and yourself what I would call an operational manual for the next hour or the next day. Before the conversation goes left, before it gets deep, one of you asks, what do you need from me right now? Not what do you need in general, not what do you need from this relationship or this marriage. What do you need right now from this conversation? It may be, I need you to just listen. I'm not ready to solve this yet. Or I need you to actually let's try to work through this and resolve this tonight. Or maybe I need 20 minutes before we get back into this, because there's a lot in my head right now and it's loud. All of these are valid, all of these are workable, but your partner cannot give you what you need if they don't know what you need. And neither can you. So ask and answer honestly. And here's what I want you to hear before I close this out. You didn't end up in a marriage where conflict is hard because something in you is broken. You ended up because you're two real people with life and carrying real weight, trying to figure out things out, and nobody handed you the tools. There's a proverb that says, without knowledge, even good people are destroyed. And in thinking of that proverb, not because of bad intentions, but because of missing information. And my hope is that changes today as you watch this video. But I do have a challenge for you, and I'm saying this from a place of love and not a lecture, a know-it-all. Knowing ease won't do anything for you unless you actually use it. Not doing the big blow up, during the small moments, I'll say the low stakes conversations, the minor frictions. That's where you build the muscle. So when the real storm hits, when the real argument gets contentious, you're not trying to learn to swim for the first time. Practice when it's easy. Practice when it's easy, so when you need it, you can pull this tool out. So at the beginning of the video, remember I mentioned a moment where I described where you feel like the argument is coming, where the tone shifts, the energy changes, the thing in you that either goes quiet or catches fire. Family, that moment is not the end. That moment is the doorway. And now you have a way to walk through it differently. And I want you to write this down or screenshot it or play this back. And put it somewhere you can see it. The goal isn't to win the argument. It's to protect the relationship while you're in it. You got it? And so before you go, I want you to do one thing. Down in the comments section, I want you to tell me which step of ease, E.A.S.E, do you need right now? Is it externalizing? Is it the externalizing? Is it anchoring, meaning staying on the issue and instead of fighting the whole war and old stuff? Or is it the sucky first draft, giving yourself permission, you and your significant other, to be imperfect in what they're relaying? Or is it establishing needs? Finally telling each other what this conversation actually needs to be. So let me know below, because I feel like the answers help other people engage as well as let them see that they're not alone, because we grow together on this channel. So the couple that figures out how to fight for each other in the middle of a fight, that couple, I feel, is unstoppable. And family, I want you to go be that couple. I'm Frank, this is Soulful Conversations, and I look forward to seeing you in the next.